What's up, guys? It's your boy Kids coming back to you guys in a discussion talking about all the terrible, needs to be fixed stuff in the game in Modern Warfare 3 Remastered. And it is one of those games I absolutely love. It's just, I feel like it's one of the best sniper games out there that's kind of like ever been released. It's just so good. I've been really enjoying it and everything. But outside of enjoying it, here's all the stuff that sucks. First off, I guess, for me sniping and everything, something you'll notice, there's actually a bunch of clips in the background. This is a recent quad feed montage where bullet penetration just doesn't work. Like, there's a number of servers, you see me like scooting even with this in the slide, because I know that bullet penetration like doesn't work. Like, a number of my clips, the most used sniper that I use is the cat with the highest damage. In this footage, not this clip specifically, I think a couple more clips ahead, there's a couple clips where you'll notice a wall bang that's just straight up impossible. Like, the person, like, you can tell is like, like you can tell it's a medium body to like headshot, and it's just, shouldn't happen. There's a number of surfaces you can't shoot through, I should say now. Those black bars right there on high rise, you can't shoot through those black bars. I mean, there's a number of spots that you have to kind of learn as you're sniping, even though you're using, I'm using bullet penetration, damage range up in a lot of scenarios. That there's objects where you straight up can't shoot through at all, and some of those make sense, like, brick walls or rocks or like things like that. But there's a lot of like surfaces that just don't make sense at all, and I'm kind of sitting there going like, man, like, why doesn't this bullet penetration shot work? Like, this is clearly, and even further than that, outside of spots that you just can't shoot through and have to learn, there's kind of just a generic problem that like almost every wall bang that you hit, almost every single one will be a hit marker, like straight up, even using the cat. It just doesn't work. I almost wanted to make a video talking about how maybe it just needs to be buffed or something, because I was using a bunch of snipers that like at the time to get a bunch of golds and stuff that like didn't do as consistent one shots and just hit marker a lot. So I was sitting there thinking like, well, even though I'm using this damage, this like bullet penetration, damage up, range up, stuff like that. Even though I'm using that stuff, like those guns, it kind of makes sense to still hit the hit markers. Maybe there's just some weird damage reduction. But with the cat, it still happens, dude. Like, it just still happens. Like, it just straight up doesn't work. I would love for bullet penetration to just work, because I love getting penetration kills. I think it's really nice, and I kind of just do a lot of sniping. Outside of that stuff that doesn't work, spawns. Holy crap, dude. Spawns, like, are broken to a point where they just like clearly need to be fixed kind of crap, like I play a lot of objective modes like hardpoint and domination and stuff. So I noticed in hardpoint, kind of the main thing that desperately like actually needs to be fixed is shared spawns. In hardpoint, I've noticed a lot, it happens all the time. You have shared spawns, you will spawn with the enemy team at the same time, right? Like, on small maps I kind of get some crap where like it's shipment and stuff like that. But, like, there's scenarios in larger maps. I remember in the beta, I had, like, a funny video talking about how I was like, holy crap, these spawns are horrible. Where, like, I spawn on, at the same time as two enemies, right? Kill a guy, I die. I spawn in the same spot again. And then I see, like, more enemies spawning in the same spot, like, running through the direction. I think I, like, shoot another guy, die, and then like maybe spawn there again, but it was this weird, like, I just kept spawning there. Like, even though I was killing people, I was spawning in the same spot that the enemy team, like straight up, both people spawning at the same time, just spawn, and then even though I died out of it and they died out of it, we both just kept spawning in the same spot, and that crap still happens. Like, almost every hardpoint game, on almost every map, there's shared spawns. Like, it just shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen. It's one of those things where, like, it just needs to be fixed. I've noticed that sometimes in domination on smaller maps, again, it just needs to be fixed. Some of the spawn problems that, like, some people talk about as problems that I don't think are problems, I think it's actually nice. I'll bring up the revenge spawns. Revenge spawns are kind of nice, honestly. Sometimes if you get, like, a handful of kills, an enemy player will spawn directly behind you, and like, no nonsense, you are like in the middle of their screen. Just, and they spawn in there, and you obviously die off of that people spawning on you and crap. But that's kind of fun. It makes the game a little bit more arcadey, and I think it kind of gives some fun rebuttaling and this, that, and the other for the game. That's just nice. The other thing that I think is nice is kind of this spawn advantage. There's clearly some kind of spawn advantage that you'll gain if you get a bunch of kills. If someone gets like 5 to 10 kills, what'll happen is the people that died will spawn slightly behind where they died, and like basically just kill feed the person. That's basically what happens. The other side of that is that people get to kind of rebuttal and get some revenge and like retake those positions, and it keeps the game really high paced and high octane for kills happening for the small period of time that the games are, and I think it's kind of nice. It makes the game a little bit more arcadey. I mean, it's interesting. I take advantage of it as a sniper. I know now in this game that if you get 4 or 5 kills, or you get a kill chain or something, you can expect the people that you just killed to spawn like a little bit behind where you killed them. So like reload and walk a little forward, right? Like and there you go, like a fresh another quad feed right on top of that, and it's kind of nice for that. The only annoying part is like when the enemy team gets like a chopper and a VTOL. And you're sitting there like, well, that happened because like the kill leader guy on the other side just killed like 4 or 5 people and just spawned everyone slightly behind where that is. So when he runs around the corner, he gets another 3 or 4 kills right there. Just instant chopper, right? And that's annoying sometimes. But on the flip side of it, it makes the game more arcadey, and I think it's a little bit more fun. So we talked about bullet penetration. We talked about spawns. What else should we talk about? Score-based matchmaking. Yeah, score-based matchmaking is one of those things. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I do think it needs to be tweaked a little bit. The annoying side of it that I have that I think needs to be tweaked is like when I play in the mornings and stuff, I'll go on like these huge loss streaks because I don't really practice or whatever. I'll just warm up from playing when I'm drinking my coffee, and there are times I'll go on like 8, 9, 10 loss streaks, and I'll get like really annoyed because I can tell that I'm playing domination, and score-based matchmaking is giving me teammates that like aren't going for flags and like aren't getting kill streaks and kills, and I'll have like these like 20, 30 kill games where I'm like negative with all these caps and stuff and like the top of my team, and I'm sitting there like, well, that just happened like 7, 8 times in a row, and that's annoying. I don't like that. I feel like if I start going on like a 4, 5, 6 loss like streak, that score-based matchmaking should balance that and start giving me slightly easier lobbies because I'm on a loss streak, right? It kind of doesn't do that in my experience. And I do eventually warm up and then start, I guess, dropping my 40, 50 kill-ish games and doing, better stuff with better kill streaks and going for whatever, So, I mean, I guess that generically I do kind of agree that score-based matchmaking kind of will give me more difficult lobbies regardless of what time of day it is, right? Like even if I go on a little bit of a loss streak, it doesn't allow any kind of smurfing or any kind of anything. I wish it was a little softer, right? Like, allowed me to not exactly smurf, but to just, if I'm on a huge loss streak, to give me a little bit of an easier game, right? There does feel like there's this weird like expectation of like, if you don't drop 40 or 50 kills this game, it's a loss. Like basically, in like a lot of the situations, I'm sitting there top of the leaderboard on my side, and I'm just like, well, scratching my head like, like I don't want to try that hard right now. Like, leave me alone. I don't know. So I do wish that it would get changed a little bit. The good side of it is that I can't terrorize lobbies, and just like do whatever I want all the time, right? So that's good. The things that I noticed that were just like palpable things is when the EMPs were released, I went on like a bunch of streaks trying to go for EMPs, and literally like I unlocked EMPs with some wins, and then after I unlocked the EMPs, tried to unlock Swarm, and you needed like 8 points or something, or 5 points or something, and inside of those I think it was 8. Inside of those 7 or 8 games, I got 5 EMPs. So like, just like sitting there trying to get EMP for footage. I just straight up was like, yeah, we're just gonna get 5 of them real quick out of like 8 games, right? So, like after that, I noticed that my score-based matchmaking for a while was like particularly difficult. I stopped going for the more high-end streaks and was going for more of like my regular care package setup, and was just having a bunch of really difficult games, and that was kind of annoying. But it kind of makes sense, right? Like the game was like, okay, like you can basically just earn EMPs whenever you feel like back to back in a bunch of lobbies. Like we're gonna need to like score-based matchmaking you a little bit. Like it makes a little bit of sense, and eventually it did soften up, and I noticed that it softened up when I was going for golds and stuff with melees, just dying a lot more. But I was almost concerned when I was going for melees. Just as more personal and anecdotal, right? I was almost concerned when I was going for melees that I would end up with like more score and stuff, and then end up in more difficult lobbies because it's easy to go on like these little 2-3 kill tears, and then if you play like super objectively, a lot of games you might end up with like more consistent like high score, and then at the same time, with the melees, I'm using like a bunch of nades and tacticals and like stuff that gives you extra XP and stuff, and low end streaks to get like a bunch of UAVs and like just like clusters or whatever. So like I was sitting there kind of worried, but like I did end up having easier lobbies, and I guess like it balanced out fairly well. So and it wasn't score based isn't too bad. It does balance around and move around a little bit, but I do notice that it's annoying. Yeah, so that's basically everything that I would want changed with the game that I think is like genuinely annoying. With like just gameplay that you experience like in the game, just stuff. There's a bunch of like random things that need to be like kind of like updated and fixed, and this, that, and the other, and just as a tidbit, and just to like talk about, I guess maybe a thing that I would want to be fixed first. Would be the armory unlocks. We did a video talking about how to get the secret pile of armory unlock stuff, where there's like a bunch of optics and silencers and just all sorts of attachments that are in there that you, after you unlock the bulk of the armory stuff, like you get everything, you can't see this like huge pile of like hundreds of other items for the other guns. But at any point, you can queue them up by just selecting multiple of them back to back. Just selecting 1, 2, 3 of optics or something. Right now, I'm actually kind of enjoying it. It's kind of fun that you can't see them, I guess. I'm hoping that it gets fixed, sure. But right now, over the last couple of days, I've just been unlocking a bunch of my optics to just, then later experiment with a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to be working on a bunch of golds and the platinums and whatever for my marksmans and the gildeds and all this, that, and the other. I think I have all the gildeds for the regular, and I just need to finish up some golds. So I'm going to be messing around with my optics. Super fun. It's kind of a cool, fun thing to do, but I do hope that it gets fixed and just somehow you do get to like see the pile. It would be even cooler if it was like in a separate pile or something. I don't know. Maybe select like more, queue up more items, or I was almost hoping that there would be the prestiges would work differently, but I'm actually fairly happy with the way the prestiges work with the armory unlocks, and everything's great. But I hope that gets fixed. It's been your boy Kids. This is the whole video of this stuff. Peace.
Let's go. Wow.
Got one moving down there. Target area update. Move to the hardpoint compromise. Secure the area. You're halfway to mission complete. Finish. Correct. Enemies inside the perimeter. 20 ready. I'm ready to launch. Hardpoint compromise. Secure the area.
Good.
That's the hostile right there. Enemy UAV active.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was talking about how the gunship needs to be buffed. Maybe I was just wrong.
Castro 3-1 is enemies inside the perimeter.
Yeah, that was pretty close too. That was pretty close.
Hardpoint relocating. Stand by.
Oh wow,
Secure the
nice.
UAV standing by.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Let's go.
Friendly UAV online. Hardpoint relocated.
Oh, thank
Secure
you.
the target area.
For volunteering as tribute. Yo. Oh no. That wallbang would have been so nice.
Don't touch the goods.
That was sick.